I need another one to rest this one on because it's too small. That works.
It works. This is our microphones today. Is 2 squishamallows. I'm approximately 2 squishamallows tall anyway.
Yeah.
It works.
I'm about maybe 4.
Maybe 4. Depends on like the size of the squishmallow, I guess. Like you've got like the really, really big ones.
Mm.
We've got like really small ones. If we're talking about really small ones,
Is that
I think
this
I'm
like
2.
this one is like the
I
big?
think I'm bigger than that.
Really?
Yeah, I have bigger than that. Anyway, we
Right.
got distracted. Okay. Welcome.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to episode 2 of
Race Rats Podcast with J and G.
I'm just letting her take over this time. It's my rest week, you know. Please excuse the fact we are using Squishmallows as mics this week. I feel like it adds ambiance, it adds aesthetic to the video.
Adds comfort.
Adds comfort.
Yeah, makes it feel less like an interview.
Less like an interview. We're here to chat, you know. We're here to chat and yeah. Comfortable.
Yeah.
It's not formal.
I'm not sitting on a stool.
You're not sitting on a stool. You are sitting in
a proper
couch. You're sitting in the hole of my couch.
Yeah.
So, like where the couch cushions meet, you've decided that's your spot. So
now our height is normal. Equal.
Not usually though. I will apologize in advance if you do hear noises in the background. We are at my house this week, and my dogs are watching, and sometimes they like to be the center of attention. So if you do hear anything, we're sorry.
But also, just deal with it.
little baguettes are walking around. All right, let's jump into another lovely lovely week. Got our notes this time.
Yeah.
We got my notes this time.
Yeah.
I can't hold that.
A bit more prepared, so there won't be like
just still chaotic, not as chaotic.
Yeah, but at least we know kind of the track on what we're going to talk about, which is, of course,
the track we're going to talk about.
No,
Bahrain.
I mean, yeah.
We're here to talk about Bahrain. We've just had the Bahrain GP. You thought I was going somewhere else with that.
I did. I was wrong.
We're here to talk about Bahrain. Yes, we have just officially completed the first race weekend. I'm trying not to squish your face. The first race weekend of the calendar, the 2024 calendar. And there's a lot to talk about. It might not have been the most exciting race, but so much went on that we've got a lot to talk about today. So where will we start? I'm going to start with the start of the weekend. Bright, shining media day. No, I'm joking.
Also, as a disclaimer, I haven't watched the race yet.
It's actually going on in the background while we
so it's kind of like as we go, I'm watching it.
All these notes are my notes, which I have briefed her in on, and we are currently watching the race about 12 hours later.
Yeah.
I don't know time. About 12 hours later, she is watching the race. I'm rewatching the race. So if you see her get distracted, something probably happened with the vroom vroom cars. It's distracting my dogs, so that's what we care about. So we'll start with free practices. Obviously, we saw Thursday this time because they've moved it a day forward for Ramadan. Thursday being FP1 and FP2, which the first kind of view into how the season is going to go, I guess. We did have a very shocking top 3 spots for FP1 with Daniel Ricciardo, Lando Norris, and Oscar Piastri taking those top 3. We had an Aussie sandwich.
And your 2 McLaren boys. So.
And my 2 McLaren boys, which we love. I love. And Danny Rick. So I was beaming that day. I was
Good
so
day
happy.
for the Aussies.
Good day for me. We then had FP2 with Hamilton, Russell, and Alonso in those top 3 spots. Interesting to see Alonso back up there so fast.
And interesting not to see Verstappen straight
Yeah,
away.
the biggest thing of FP1 and FP2 being Verstappen not taking those top spots. I think it's a nice relief, at least for one day.
Of course, it didn't last that long, did it? Though.
When we saw GP's smile, we should have known it was over for the rest of us. He knew something we didn't know. And we were going to see that in the coming days, I guess. But then, yeah, cut to Friday, FP2 and qualifying. We had Sainz, Alonso, and Verstappen for FP3 in the top 3 spots. Obviously, we start seeing Verstappen climb. And then we go to qualifying. Should have seen that one coming. Who was our pole sitter?
Verstappen.
Yeah.
That was a guess, actually.
Why you don't need to guess. That's you could
an informed
guess.
guess.
You could guess that
Yeah,
at any point of the year, and it's probably going to be Verstappen. Just shockingly enough, let's get our bingo cards out, guys. Will Verstappen get a win this year? I don't know.
Pretty likely though.
Lights out and away we go. It was good. Yeah, you see the collision.
Wait.
You'll see it in a second. Ready? First corner. There we go. Yeah.
Wait, who was that?
Hulkenberg went into Stroll, and Bottas got damage in the process.
Damn.
Yeah. I love that. I love that we've just recorded that too. We got that in there. It's just me being like, hey, you ready? Oh.
But this is the first corner though.
Yeah, first lap, first corner.
That's a really sharp corner.
That's a hairpin. That's what's called a hairpin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's your hairpin.
See, I've never actually seen like the Bahrain track, so I don't know what it looks like. Or...
that's a hairpin. You've got chicanes, which are kind of like an S.
Yeah, the little.
Yes. So qualifying. Yeah, we had Verstappen, Leclerc, and Russell. So you got your Red Bull, you've got your Ferrari, you've got your Mercedes. Classic. Who would have seen those as the top teams? Not me. Not me. One thing I will say is Hamilton seemed to be struggling this weekend.
In what way? Like
he just couldn't get that race pace up.
Wasn't he having power issues?
In the main race, yeah, but he just seemed to be struggling outside of that.
Has he been doing like well in the past couple seasons, or is he kind of fallen down a bit?
It seems he's dropping back a little bit, and I know that's going to be very controversial to say.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's because Mercedes gave him a bad car in 2023, because we all know that was a bad car, or if he's just losing pace. I'm gonna give him benefit of the doubt and say Mercedes issues.
Yeah, because he's obviously a very good driver. He's done so well for a long time now, and it's
7 World Championships.
Yeah, so it's only recently that things are kind of changing. So I don't know if it's his car or.
I'm gonna say it's car, not driver this time.
And or driver.
Thank you.
Now I get it.
Now you get it. Oh, I think of that multiple times today. My God. Car or driver? No, yeah, I definitely think that's more error of car. And I think this year the car is a lot better, but it's not without its issues. And we've already seen that in the actual race. Another car with issues, or team in general, block your ears, little gal, Alpine. I'm so sorry. I feel like this is karma.
Karma? In what way?
I feel like this is karma, Alpine, for lying to us about the pink camo livery.
Yeah, that they.
If you'd run with
They
that
did us
livery,
dirty. That was cruel,
if they'd run
honestly.
with that livery, we wouldn't be having these issues. I said what I said. I
Yeah,
meant
because
every
no one
second.
would see them on the track. they would just they would just like
Sneak through.
sneak through, exactly.
Sneak through. I want to know how the car has ended up 10 kilos overweight, though. That
Yeah, how does that happen?
I don't know how that happens. That's genuinely the weirdest kind of, because I know they added more color to the livery going into the
But
weekend,
paint's
but not
not
10
gonna
kilos
add
worth.
10
No,
kilos.
not 10 kilos worth. There's absolutely no way in hell that is 10 kilos worth. Um, and I don't know, they just don't have the pace there, and I do feel for them. Gasly especially, Gasly gal, you know. But I don't know how Alpine of all of them have now ended up at the very back of the pack.
Mm.
Like, that's crazy to me. That's crazy, gal.
How did they do last season?
It's decent.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't
Okay.
bad. Like, Gasly especially did quite well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Ocon did as well, but again, I probably paid more attention to Gasly. But yeah, they didn't do horribly. So I don't know what has happened this year. Someone who did do well this year going into the weekend, McLaren. I say with so much pride. This is the first year in a while that both cars have made it into Q3 qualifying. Last year, if I remember correctly, Piastri was out in Q1 and Lando just scraped into Q2, which he then got knocked out of Q2. This year, both made it into Q3.
So how do you get knocked out of the qualifying again?
So qualifying is based on time.
Okay.
So you wanna get the fastest lap possible.
Mm.
Qualifying Q1 is they run for about 15 minutes. The bottom 5 drivers with the slowest time get knocked out. So then Q2, you've got 15 drivers going into Q2. Again, about 15 minutes. The next 5 get knocked out. So whatever their time is for those is where they're going to start on the grid. So say you had the slowest time of all 20, you're starting last. Hence,
Right. So it's not like they're out of the feature race. It's just
no,
like,
this is their starting positions for the race.
okay, makes sense.
So you want to get So you want to get into Q3 at least, because that gives you those top 10 positions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you want to be. You want to be in those top 10 at
Makes
least.
sense. Yeah.
Fastest time of all is what's going to get you that pole position, which is starting at the very, very start of the grid. You want everyone else behind you.
Why is it called pole position?
I actually don't have an answer for you. I'll have to look into that. I've never actually questioned that.
I assumed it's because there's some kind of pole near the
No,
front. No,
not that I can think of, at least.
Like not okay.
I've never actually questioned that myself. I feel like that is something I probably should have questioned, but I definitely. I'll look into that. Thank you. You've given me some research to do now.
Something you don't know.
Something I don't know. No. So yeah. You wanna make it into the Q3 and you wanna do as good as possible. So Q3. By then you've got your top 10 drivers, and Q3 is about 10 minutes, and that run is just to see which position you're going to be starting for the race day.
So when they start that race, are they all like exactly the same point?
No, so it's kind of a staggered. It's a staggered starting. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on.
Yeah.
So obviously 1 and 2 is your first row. So 2 is just behind, but you want to be ideally in one of those 2 positions. 1, 2, or 3. Yeah. So you want to be in, depending on the track. Most of the time you want to be 1 or 2. Some tracks you can do well from 1 or 3. You want to be in 1 or 3, not even 2. But yeah, unfortunately, Alpine doing horribly, McLaren doing very well. And yeah, moving on to race day, where all the action is. The thing going on in the background of this video right now.
What I'm watching right now.
Yeah, literally what we're watching behind this right now. Did start with its issues because we can never have a clean start, let's be honest. With the the little collision between Hulkenberg and Stroll, which did clear up Bottas a little bit. He got front wing damage, which did see Stroll move to the back of the pack. Because of this, he had to recover.
He's in 19th
Yeah,
place at the
yeah. So
moment.
that's actually the exact thing. So he recovered it quite fast. But it did knock him to the back, unfortunately. In saying that, he did make it to the points by the end of the race. So he went from the back to the front. Very good recovery. Very good race from Lance Stroll. I have to give credit where credit is due, and credit is due there to that man. I know he gets a lot of dislike for the fact of, I guess, how everyone sees he got his position
But
in the team.
speaking fairly, he wouldn't be there if he didn't have skill. Like you don't, money's not going to get you straight onto the like. Maybe it got him onto the grid, but to retain his spot and do pretty well, like that's not just money. That's talent and skill.
Yeah, a lot of people say it's because his dad owns the team,
Yeah,
but
money can only do so much.
yeah, Lawrence Stroll is still smart enough of a businessman that if he loves his son to death, like his son is everything to him. But at the end of the day, if your son's not doing well, you're not going to retain that spot.
So he's obviously doing something right.
Yeah, and he is doing very well. I give credit where credit's due, and there's credit due to Lance Stroll. He is a solid racer. Sorry. Um, we did see a lot of Mercedes power issues throughout the race. For not just Mercedes themselves, but anyone running Mercedes power units. Williams definitely felt the heat there. Um, Speaking of Williams feeling the heat, them trying to get Albon to run a new strategy and him saying, I literally can't see the screen because the screen was yelling, car too hot.
Too hot, yeah.
Car too hot. Little word, big meaning.
That's.
Car too hot,
I mean, at least they've got it on the screen to warn him that.
But what's interesting? This is a new wheel for Williams. They're running a new type of wheel. So
Yeah.
they've always ran an older type of wheel, whereas everyone else has come to the modernized. Leclerc track limits for Russell. He loves dobbing on Russell for track limits. Oh, thank you, Leclerc. It's so funny. I don't know why. It's always Leclerc being like, and track limits for Mr. Russell. Like, why is it always him?
Does track limits mean that they're gone outside of?
Yeah. So, it's a lot in like certain points where you're allowed 3 instances of this happening before you get a penalty. But basically, you need to stay inside lines. If all 4 of your wheels leave the track, that's a track limits violation.
Fair enough.
So if three go out but 1 stays in,
you're still
even just a little bit, you're in track limits. Yeah, you are within. Okay. Yeah. So you don't want to take a corner too wide, or you're going to get track limit violations. I think Lando got like 2. He didn't get. I don't think anyone got any penalties for this race, which is a fucking first. But Lando definitely got 2 warnings. I know that much. I think it was track limits. I could be wrong. But yeah, as I said, the Williams steering wheel got very mad and would not let Albon do anything because car too hot.
What do you mean by not let him do anything?
I couldn't run any strategies because it was telling him the car was busy telling him car too hot.
But what's he supposed to do about
car go,
that?
Ooh, ouchie bunny,
Is he meant to like?
Can't. There's nothing.
Stop?
The cooling units were just not working. Which
just keep going and hope for the best.
Yeah, but apparently Russell had the same issues. Russell had the same issues where he was having issues with the engine cooling system not working throughout a lot of the race. just like Leclerc was having issues with his brakes. The amount of lockups that man had, insane. To the point, yeah, he thought that there was no point continuing racing because it was quite dangerous. He called it himself that it would be dangerous to continue, which is crazy. Imagine being in that car, which is dangerous in general.
it's
like it's not a safe
dangerous.
sport, and they're all aware of this.
And for
But
him to say it's like
yeah, to make the radio call of, I don't, it's not worth it. It's too dangerous. That's new. That's a new one. We had what else have we? What did we have? We had Hamilton's broken seat.
ass out the seat.
Ass out the seat.
Couldn't handle the cake.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I have no words on that. Hamilton thick question mark.
Too much for the chair, obviously.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But, like, really, what actually happened there? Did
they haven't said. They haven't said.
Disconnect from.
I don't.
How does a chair just break?
I would like to know.
Was it like
that's my question? Is I don't know how a seat just dislodges like that. I guess don't know. Verstappen. Talk about Verstappen for a second. I mean, we're going to speak about Verstappen a lot because we'll know the result. 30-second gap to P2 by the time he did his first pit stop.
That's insane. 30 seconds?
30-second gap between him and P2.
Why did I think it was 20?
30-second gap between him and P2 before he went for his first pit stop. That is half a minute, and that counts for a lot in this race. That man had enough time that he could have pulled into that pit stop, jumped out the car, gone for a bathroom break, sculled a Red Bull, kissed his girlfriend, got back in the car, and made it back out to the track before P2 even made it to his position. Could order some chicken nuggets, honestly. Yeah, right. He had time to. He had time to get chicken nuggets. But yeah, no, 30-second gap, and then finishing the race after this with a 20-second and a half gap between him and P2. So again, he built up enough of a gap to have that space, which is crazy to me. Last year was 12 seconds. So he's up 10 seconds this year already, and it's race one. That doesn't give me
huge. 10 whole seconds in race one.
Yeah, it doesn't give me hope for the year.
Hope for him, but no.
I don't need hope for him. We know how the year's gonna go. He's got it. He's got it. Hand him the championship title now. Just give him that trophy. Let's build a separate little podium for him. So every race we have a Verstappen podium, and then we have the next three up on the actual podium. So we know that Verstappen's going to be there. We know he's going to have the lead.
Who could come first if Verstappen went there?
Exactly. So we give him his own podium, and then P2 is technically P1 after that. So you've got P1, but then above P1 you have the title of Verstappen. He gets his own title, Verstappen.
The Verstappen level.
Yeah, the lion level. Let's call it the lion level. The Dutch Lion gets that one. It's his nickname, the Dutch Lion. That's why his logo is a lion.
That's cute.
Yeah, adorable. It's very cute of a logo, actually. We had the unfortunate lockup from Logan Sargent that did see him go into the runoff area as he went to take a turn. The wheels just locked up, would not turn, which took him into the runoff area. Luckily, he hit nothing. He did get back in the race after some time. Somebody dreaming? Oh my god, we've got puppy dreams going on right now. Anyway, yes. We had the unfortunate lockup from Logan Sargent, which did see him going into a turn and it not turning, and him going into the runoff area. He was so frustrated. Hearing that radio call did break me a little bit because Sargent's one that I hold a soft spot for, and I think I said this in the last episode, of he's trying his absolute darndest.
And
And
I mean, they all are really.
they all are, but he just doesn't seem to have luck on his side.
Yeah.
And I think, he's made it here for a reason. And it's just very unfortunate that things are not going his way. This year, I have seen a lot better pace from him. He is controlling the controllables that he can a lot better. It's just luck not being on his side.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's controlling the controllables a lot better. He just hasn't had luck on his side. And hearing that radio call of how frustrated he was when he had that lockup did make me a little bit sad because I had hope for him. I have a lot of hope for him this year.
It would really be upsetting when you're doing well and you're like moving up, and then of course something like that happens.
Yeah, as you can see right now, he's up in 14th. He's
Yeah.
doing better than Ricardo.
Oh wow, he is.
Like
Gasly.
little kilometer boy.
Hulkenberg's
Little-
not doing too great.
Hulkenberg had the crash at the start. That's why he dropped. Because he pitted after that crash.
Which kind of threw off Bottas as well.
Yeah. Yes, that's why Stroll, Bottas, and Hulkenberg are at the bottom at the moment because they're still recovering
Why is
from.
Gasly at the bottom?
Because Alpine.
Yeah.
Alpine.
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 Albred.
We had Sainz and Leclerc battling the wheel quite a few times to the point one would have to bail out before it caused a collision. It did seem that throughout Leclerc's issues, he was not able to keep that race pace. He was struggling to keep up, I'd say.
What issues?
He was having the brake issues. He was having the wheel lockup issues, and he was having something else. What was it? He had
Well, I mean, he's doing pretty well at the moment as we're watching on lap 10.
Yeah, but he keeps complaining. 4th. He keeps complaining about just everything, about like this thing's not going well for him.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough. Sainz, on the other hand, seemed like he was just having a great run. He was able to get that race pace. He was able to build it up. And it did come out later that he was having the same issues, but was able to control it better. Which is interesting for the fact he's the one losing his seat. Not saying anything bad about Leclerc. You would never let me. But it's just very interesting to see that the driver who isn't in the team next year had a better race run, especially like first weekend back. Same car, same issues.
I wouldn't make you withhold the truth.
True.
But
also I don't have it's not a bad thing on Leclerc. It's just
it's just a good thing on Sainz.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
we know how I feel about Sainz, so it's a little bit of bias there. We had Perez's radio issues of hearing him literally being like, "Oh, here's the lockup." We get James Vowles though. We did get scene of James Vowles. Thank you, James Vowles. He looks okay. I've realized this week James Vowles reminds me of Lewis from Ice Age Continental Drift. Lewis. I'll show you after, but the little I can't think of what animal he is, but he was Peaches, the mammoth. You remember the daughter they had? Peaches. Yeah, it was Peaches' best friend.
Was he like a ferret or something?
Something like that, yeah.
I don't know.
James Vowles reminds me. It's
been a hot minute since I saw that movie.
No, he posted a photo the other day, and immediately my brain was like, "That's that creature from Ice Age." Oh, that's so bad. I'm so mean. I'm sorry. It's not a bad thing. I didn't mean it in a bad way. James Vowles is a very handsome man. Hand over heart, handsome man.
I mean, to be honest, Gasly does kind of remind me of Sid the Sloth a bit. So
Gasly, Verstappen is Sid the Sloth.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, no, Gasly.
And he knows it. He knows it.
Gasly reminds me of Sid the Sloth more.
Gasly reminds me of something else. Gasly's just violently French, okay? Violently French. Violently. Like there's French and there's violently French, and that is Pierre Gasly.
I mean, his name's Pierre.
Yeah, Pierre Jean-Jacques.
No, wait,
Well,
what?
that's his dad's name. So like
Jean-Jacques.
that's his middle name because it's inherited.
Je-
Wheel to wheel, wheel to wheel. That's good racing. That's good racing.
But they're
Yeah,
teammates.
yeah. Well, he's still gonna do better, and they were roommates. Oh my god, they were teammates. Jesus
Paris
Christ.
and Piastri are doing great.
Yeah, for a track that doesn't suit them and they've never done well
Yeah,
at.
it's interesting though to see like two Ferraris, one behind the other, two McLarens, one behind the other, and then almost the two Red Bulls with just Russell in between.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it does end up with a Red Bull 1-2.
That's so cool.
Red Bull 1-2, Ferrari 3-4.
And then how does McLaren go?
We'll go into that off.
Okay,
Because we're gonna pull up the standings.
Okay.
Where are we up to?
Jumping the gun a bit.
Yeah, Perez radio issues, where you literally hear him talk about. He like yells over the radio. And he's like, "You need to speak up. You need to be yelling. I can't hear you." Right? Turns out they were having radio issues. They had to switch out the radio pack because something was just going wrong there. Which is not what you want to have during a race because
we need the communication to know
if something goes wrong, but also strategy calls. Yeah, you need to know when to pit. You need to know when to box.
Because these drivers don't know anything other than what they see happening in front
Driver
of them.
doesn't know anything but race fast car and box. Race fast car, complain, and box.
And try not to crash.
What? Are they even trying anymore?
Try to crash mildly.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I'll give you that. Yeah, we had Gasly have a horrible pit stop, which caused
a minute or
no. That was Bottas. We'll get to that one in a minute. Gasly had a horrible pit stop, which led to absolute frustrations and just French yelling.
French rage.
A lot of French yelling, a lot of French swearing. He didn't even say "pardon my French" this time. He just went straight into it.
Do you say that if you're French?
No, you just say "pardon my French." My words.
Pardon me.
Yeah, just pardon me. He didn't say that. Okay. No, do you reckon he says "pardon my English" before he starts swearing?
In English?
Yeah.
That just sounds weird, so no, I don't think.
Well, he's French, so as you said, he's not going to say "pardon my French." But anyway, guess we'll go back to that one. We had. I've. Oh, we'll get back to this point in a second. I will go back to the Bottas. Yes, Bottas had a bad pit stop as well, where he had the. We had Bottas with the front left wheel nut.
Wait, how has Leclerc fallen down so far?
He would have pitted. Yeah, he pitted. Plays on hards now.
Oh, is that what the HNES means?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So we had Bottas have a horrible pit stop where the front left wheel nut locked up. They couldn't get it out. Ended up being a 53-second pit stop. So when it's a generally about no more than 3 seconds is what you want. 53 seconds is going to screw your race. He did recover, not as good as he could have, but yeah, 53 seconds is crazy. You want to talk about Verstappen being able to get out and have that lead. I think Bottas had enough time to take a nap. Get ready for the rest of the race. Get that nap in, boy.
Little power nap.
Little power nap. More power in the nap than in the power unit, I think. That was a good call, I know.
Yeah, it's pretty savage, actually.
I know, I'm good at that. So good at that. We had, I've literally just written down baguettes just straight up struggling. So, the baguettes, Alpine, that is what they are formally known as now. Because all I can think of is a tweet that I saw when Drive to Survive's trailer came out originally about the scene where Gasly was talking how they there's a lot of tension in the team and how they'll never be best friends. And somebody posted that screenshot with just the caption, "The baguettes are fighting." And that, I think of that multiple times a day because that is the best thing I've ever heard.
Why not the croissant?
No, they're
Baguette.
baguettes. That's the baguettes are fighting. So yeah, the baguettes were just having a straight up struggle fest this weekend. That car is doing horribly. I hope they get things together before the next race because I would like to see Alpine do okay. And at the moment they're just not. They're just not doing okay at all. They're struggling. They're not on the racetrack. They're on struggle street. I mean that. We had another point that I've put down, which is an important one for me. I don't care about who had it for the rest of the race. All I care about personally, me, myself,
I know
and my squishamallow. Lando fastest lap 36.
Whoa!
That's my driver, ladies and gentlemen. That's my driver. Lando fastest lap 36. The rest of the race does not matter to me. Only lap 36 matters. The rest of the race doesn't exist to me. Thank you for coming to my McLaren TED Talk.
Thanks, I learned so much.
You're welcome. I'm doing so good at this. We had the classic Ferrari. We are checking calls.
We are checking.
What are they checking? What are they checking at this point?
I don't think they are, to be honest.
I genuinely don't think they're checking.
They're just like, what do we do? Make them think that we're doing something.
Leclerc's like, car's struggling, and they're like, oh, we're checking on that. Give us a second. They're like, oh my god.
What do we do?
Literally, it's what do we do? What do we tell him?
Yeah.
How do we tell him we're sorry?
We don't.
We've given you another bad car. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. We had towards the end of the race, and this is the funniest thing I've ever heard, is Max Verstappen asking if the race was still going on or if something had happened, because he couldn't see anyone.
So far ahead that he just thinks he's just having a little stroll, to be honest.
Mans is so far ahead. He's already in Jeddah.
Yeah,
he's already at the next race.
Going around for a little bit of relaxation.
Like, he finished the race, made it to Jeddah, started race 2 of the season before anyone even got to the checkered flag after him. Personally, interesting call. While that's going on, though, we've got the lovely V-Carb in the back of the pack fighting each other, where a strategy call was made of switching positions between Tsunoda and Ricciardo. It was apparently something that was pre-spoken about. It was already pre-agreed upon. And yet, when it was called, Tsunoda was not happy about it. And Tsunoda threw a little bit of a fit.
Got a bit of Japanese rage there, didn't we?
He's been very good. He's pulled back on his radio swearing a lot. And he's calmed down a lot. This week he brought it back. I love Yuki. I think he's adorable. I think he's a great driver. I think he's a fun guy. I think he's got a great personality. I do not like how this was handled. I do not like the fact the internet went ablaze and then made Ricciardo the villain for saying after the race that what happened was immature. Because I don't think it's fair on him that he just did what the team asked of him, what the team had pre-agreed upon, and then in the cooldown lap gets dive bombed. That's not cool.
Yeah, Tsunoda. But that dive bomb almost caused a crash, though, didn't it? Right?
Yeah. The Tsunoda ended up having a wheel lockup, which would have caused a massive crash had Ricciardo not moved out of the way.
Really reckless and immature. Yeah, that's not good.
It was immature. I don't care what anyone says. I don't think what Ricciardo said was wrong. It was immature. Should he have spoken to the media about that and said that to the media? No.
Probably should have spoken to Yuki about it first.
Yeah, they should have waited until the team strategy meeting. But yeah, unfortunately he didn't, and here we are. There's no reason to make him the villain for saying what is true. It was immature. You've been in the sport long enough to know that's not why would you dive bomb your teammate in the cool down lap? Like, I don't know, man. Hash it out in the drivers' rooms after. Don't bring it to the track. As mentioned before, the 22.5-second lead for Verstappen at the end of the race. In his words, in the Dutch Lion's words himself, simply lovely race.
Such an odd way to describe a race, though. It's such high intensity
all the time,
and he says simply lovely. Like that's how you describe going for a walk around a lake or on the beach or something.
Simply lovely is his thing. Simply lovely is Max Verstappen's thing.
It's like when on food like shows they describe food as sexy. Like who does that? That's odd. I don't like that.
I'm not a fan of that.
No.
Like that. I'm not a fan of that. And then yeah, we had Verstappen, Perez, and Sainz on the podium. So we had Red Bull 1-2 podium. So that obviously already puts them ahead in the constructors. A lead we didn't need for Red Bull.
But we got Ferrari in third.
We did get Ferrari in third and fourth, which does put them second in constructors. We had both McLarens finish within the points, quite well up to, for a track that they talk about quite often does not suit them and they do not do well at. Crazy to think that like they were in the points. Very proud of that. We also had, for the first time ever, no DNFs in the season opener.
Wait, ever?
Ever.
Like
everyone finished the race.
That's really impressive, actually.
Yeah. I mean, we almost had it with Sargent's lockup.
Yeah,
we almost had it with the Stroll and Hulkenberg collision first lap, but we didn't. We could have even got it with Bottas and his minute pit stop. Like at that point, you kind of want to call it.
Is there a limit to how long the race can run for? Like,
what do you mean?
Say like 15 drivers have finished the race, and the other 5 are like way far behind. That
it keeps going until they're done.
Okay, so there's not like a cutoff time.
If they haven't DNF'd by then, it
just
goes
until,
mind you, after like the first couple come through, you like they don't really show it anymore.
Yeah,
because you just that's who you're looking for is those first couple. But yeah, no, it doesn't stop until the last running car goes through the checkered flag.
So what what constitutes like calling a DNF for a car?
Crashes,
like
issues that just stop the car, anything like that.
If the car is still running though, and
if it's not, so if it's gotten to the point where it's taken off the track, like that's it.
Okay,
like it's out.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I guess it's a safety thing as well. Like,
yeah,
you don't.
So if the car's no longer safely running, like it's got to be taken out. That's it. Taken out. On a date, a sniper.
Who knows? Maybe both.
With a safety car. Who knows? Something that did make me very, very sad. Actually, before I get to this, race statistics wise, everyone ran on softs and hards this week, with most running for a 2 or 3 pit stop strategy. So a lot of them started on the softs, went to hards, and then a few finished off on softs again.
What does the difference in the tires, like how does that affect the racing?
So softs are gonna heat up faster, which is you want them to be warm, to be able to run smoother, but tire degradation is a lot faster with that.
Right, yeah, because the
of
more
the
heat,
compound.
the more friction.
Yeah, and the thickness of the tire compound.
Right.
Where in the opposite of that, hards are going to take longer to heat up to get that grip on the track, but degradation is going to take a lot longer, which means the tire life, if you're good at managing your tire life,
Can
is
last
going to be
a lot longer. So that means less pit stops.
Yeah, more laps. You get more laps out of a hard.
Okay.
But the fastest will be the soft.
All right. And are there only two types of tires, like hards and softs?
No. So there is 5 types of tires that run through the race calendar, depending on track type and weather. So for each track, depending on the weather and that, Pirelli themselves will give you which compound, because it's not as simple as just, soft, medium, hard, intermediates, wets. Okay, so these are what we've got. Oh my god, you can't see from this far away. Anyway, so these are your softs, mediums, and hards, right? So C5 are the very softest, whereas C0 is your hardest. So it's actually it's 2 compounds each. So for a race weekend, Pirelli might say the soft compound is going to be a C4 for this weekend. So they might be like, okay, the options you have is like a C1, a C2, and a C4. So that's your soft, mediums, and hards for the weekend. Then you have your intermediates and your wet tires, which have a bit more grip on them, whereas these, when you look at them, are a completely smooth tire. Your wets and your intermediates have a different grip on them because it's obviously different race conditions, like the track conditions. That make a bit more sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's your intermediate, and that's your wet, your full wet. So intermediate's when it's like kind of a wet, kind of a dry. Your full wets is when you've got a rain race, basically.
Okay.
Which makes me very nervous. I'm not the biggest fan of wet races, but that's also a personal issue because I'm scared of driving in the rain for my own reasons.
It is. I get scared driving in the rain too.
Once you've had a big crash in the rain, just driving in the rain is terrifying.
See, I've never crashed, but I'm scared of crashing.
I have, and it was a nasty one.
Did you like hydroplane or something?
Yeah. Yeah, not fun. So now, every time it rains, I'm very nervous about driving because I'm like,
and
even that if your wheel just like slightly catches,
yeah,
I panic. I can't be in the car with somebody. I can't be the one driving. I panic and start having a really bad anxiety attack. That's a horrible thing. But yeah, so that was the compounds. Everyone went for about 2-3 stops. Now onto something that upset me a little bit. We saw Carlos Sainz get P3. Congratulations.
Woo, yay.
To Carlos. He deserved it.
Yeah.
He deserved it.
He didn't deserve the reaction though.
He didn't deserve the disrespect from his team. And I feel like 2024 is going to be the year that I'm constantly calling out Ferrari. And I'm here for it. I will do it as much as I need to. Nothing against the drivers, full against the team.
Yeah, for their disrespect for Carlos all the time.
All the time. I'm sorry. You've just had a driver get on that podium, get you the best points out of both your team members, and you cannot even find the respect to be there to congratulate him.
Yeah, they were too busy having a snack. They were just sitting down and
in hospitality eating. Having a snack.
On their phones and stuff. Like, come on.
Oh, don't even talk about the phones. His girlfriend's sitting there on the phone when he walked in. Pay attention to your man. Yeah, I don't think it's fair that they did not even have the decency to be there to congratulate him when he made it to the end. And it broke my heart seeing the footage of that, of him taking his helmet and that off, looking around for his team. Because who do you want to celebrate with when you finish? Your loved ones and your team. Luckily, his father was there. Carlos Sainz Sr. was there to celebrate his son.
And a few of the engineers as
well. A few of the engineers that were working on his car. But it's not fair. No. It's really not fair. I feel like if it was Leclerc there, they would have been there.
There'd be everyone there.
The Prince of Ferrari would have been celebrated. I know that you like Signs is not in your team after this year. Like you've made that clear that you've done
But
that.
there's still a whole year.
There is still a whole season to go through, and he's still doing his best for you guys. Come on, do better as a team. Sorry, do better. It makes me I'm really frustrated about it. Like it still has me very heated because how could you disrespect your team? Sorry, I'm looking at Ghost sitting in her mermaid pose again.
So pretty.
You look gorgeous,
Pretty
sweetie.
mermaid.
But yes, that comes to the end of the F1 feature race. I am not the biggest. Sorry, I just saw my mouth for a second.
Your what?
I moved my leg up and saw the mouth. I got distracted.
Jump scare.
Oh my god, jump scare. Oh yeah, the Alpine being there. Jump scare. Yeah.
These are catch-up racing goals.
It's going to be a very interesting season to see how Ferrari treat Sainz when. I mean, yes, it's only race one, but he's showing a lot more strategy excellence.
Kind of just said like, "Screw you, Ferrari. I'm gonna do great now that
He's
you're
in-
getting rid of me."
He's in his villain arc era.
Yeah.
He's in his revenge era. He said, "My last year, I'm going to show you what you're losing."
Love that for him.
Love him for him. You know who else was there? I'm like, wait, can you see it? No, you can't see him there. Damn it. Teto was there. Roberto was there. My favorite wag. Signs' wag, Roberto, who does have a racing career of his own and is quite good. But he's been around a lot more lately, and I love seeing him there to support Signs. Thank you. Thank you for being there. Simple. Actually, speaking of support and that, there is something that has just popped into my mind that I haven't told you about yet. I'm kind of disgusted by some of the fan behavior regarding this entire weekend. So the other day, a few of the drivers, so obviously people were allowed out onto into the garage area, obviously behind like ropes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Leclerc was signing stuff for fans, being as sweet as he could be, and his safety was put in danger because fans jumped those barricades and swarmed him, and he still kept signing. He was still a sweetheart.
Damn.
He literally had to be picked up and taken away. They were like trying to get into the garage. That is a safety hazard. Don't do that.
Yeah, some fans just go way over the top. Like, I've seen it in K-pop groups and stuff. They're like,
Yeah.
they grab them and will do anything just to like.
Yeah, but like, they're human beings.
They're not animals in a zoo. You don't poke and prod.
Like, I saw some of the treatment towards Norris, and that annoys me, being my favorite driver. I'm like, leave Pookie alone. He's too sweet for this world.
Leave my baby girl alone.
Leave baby girl alone. But
he's only 2 apples tall.
No, he's 3 apples. I'm 2 apples. He's 3 apples. He's got another apple on me.
Okay.
But in saying that, yeah, don't treat the drivers like that. They should never have their safety put at risk
more than
because
it
you
is
want
when
a
they're
photo
driving.
or something. Yeah, I'm sorry, but if the fan behavior is more of a safety risk to those drivers than being in the cars doing what they do, we've got an issue.
Something very wrong.
It's not cool. Not cool. And then yeah, a lot of the online drama. There is a certain, I'm not going to name names, but there is a certain driver's fan base that likes to speak down on that driver's teammate a lot. And it's not fair.
No.
It's not fair because they are teammates at the end of the day. They don't have beef towards each other. Why do you have beef towards... Sorry, what is going on? Do you know him? I mean, what? I mean, we all wish we knew them,
Yeah.
but if you don't know them, don't speak about them like that. Leave it alone. Leave it at that. Support them, don't support them, don't care. But don't attack other fans, that kind of thing. It's gross.
It's low.
It's
Immature.
icky. It's icky. It's immature. Um, but yeah, it's been a lot go on this weekend with that kind of thing. And I really hope to see a little bit more normality with fans as the season goes on, because at the end of the day, we all love the drivers. I mean, that's what we're here for. But they are just drivers. Yeah, like, we all wish they knew us. We all wish we could know them. I think, Lando's personality is great. I'd love to be best friends with him. I'd love to be best friends with Danny Rick. He'd make everybody laugh in the room. But we don't know them. Don't treat them badly from what you see in the media. Again, another TED talk for me.
Very wise. Oh my god. Just give a TED talk like that and then you just go and die?
That makes it a haunted talk.
A what?
A haunted talk. Haunted talk.
I honestly thought you were saying horn. Like a horn TED.
This is not a Christian Horner TED talk. Leave that in the Google Drive. Round this out. You don't know much about this. And obviously this podcast is mainly to do with F1. I do want to talk about F2 though, because I do love the feeder series. And obviously it's been their first race weekend as well. I just want to make notes on mainly Kimi Antonelli and Ollie Behrman, because they're the ones to keep an eye on. They're the ones that are being seen as kind of the future F1 racers. They're the ones being looked at by their teams, respective teams. Antonelli's a Mercedes Academy driver. Behrman is a Ferrari Academy driver. Both of them, fantastic races. This weekend, not so much.
Right.
They had a horrible weekend. They qualified. I think Behrman qualified P18, and Antonelli qualified P19.
And it's still 20 drivers?
25.
25, right.
I could be wrong. I think
I don't know anything about
There's more on the F2 grid.
I literally don't know drivers. I don't know anything about how it runs.
Driver I do miss. I'm going to talk about this man a lot throughout this podcast series. Arthur Leclerc. My favorite Leclerc. We are not getting the return of Hello Gaze.
Hello Gaze.
As I mentioned last time, because after that was filmed, I was watching. He did get back on Twitch and stream, which has been a long time coming. But he did turn around and say that he's not saying it anymore because he knows he can't say the word. He can't pronounce it properly. Yeah, broke my heart.
Are people bullying him for it?
It's not that we're bullying him. It's the fact that everyone found it so funny. Because it was great. I loved it. I thought it was very inclusive of him.
You said Fall Gaze.
Yeah, so okay, yeah. So we've gotten to the point where no more Hello Gaze, because he knows he can't say the word guys properly with his Monegasque accent. But during the second stream that he did, he was just dead again. Yeah, so he did say that he knows that he can't pronounce the word guys properly, so he stopped saying it. But then in the second stream that he did, at the end of it, he was asking like what games he should get to play with chat in the next stream. I straight away, I was in there. I was straight in there. I was fast. My little fingies were typing as fast as they could. They were typing faster than an F1 car. Let me tell you. But on the keyboard. I immediately suggested Jackbox and Fall Guys. Now my little raccoon squirrel rat brain did not think about it at first when I did suggest that.
So it wasn't like a strategic
No, it wasn't.
move.
But my God, am I proud of it. chat started talking about Fall Guys, which then got Arthur to be like, "What's Fall Gays?" But then he was like trying
found
to
your
say the
way
word,
around.
and he's like Fall Gays, and he knew
Fall
he couldn't say
Gays.
it properly. And then for some god-forsaken reason, he's decided to just aggressively say Fall Gays.
Fall Gays. You hacked
Why
the
did you-
system.
Why did you? I did hack the system, but why did he feel the need to like scream that? Like
He just
out of my brain.
he's trying to
into the
prove he
internet.
can say it, but in doing so, he's proving he can't.
It's so good. Anyway, back to F2. I could get distracted about Arthur Leclerc any day of the week. Any hour of the day, any day of the week, any week of the year.
Nice.
Arthur Leclerc. I need Arthur Leclerc to be, he's not been very active on social media lately. I need him to be reactive on social media so I can hype him up. That is my job.
Yeah, you're a bit of a Arthur hype woman.
I am absolutely an Arthur
Number
Leclerc hype
one.
woman. He deserves that hype, and I will always be there to hype that man up. Anyway, back to F2. Yeah, Behrman and Antonelli did not do well this week. As I said, qualifying P18, P19. The sprint race coming 14th and 16th. I think it was Antonelli 14th, Behrman 16th. And then in the feature race, Antonelli did finish 10th, so you get that last point spot. But Behrman did fall down to 15th. Don't know what's going on at the moment. Gonna say it's just, first race back blues. Hopefully the next one next week does do better. But I think I'm a bit worried that Antonelli is putting too much pressure on himself. My seat is broken.
Oh no!
I wasn't kidding about that. My seat is broken.
It's just so funny to me.
Like, what a radio call! I love that. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried that Antonelli is putting too much pressure on himself, with the fact that there's been a lot of chatter that Mercedes are looking at him for that second Merc seat next year. I think he's still too young. I think this is going to put a lot of pressure that he doesn't need on him. And I'm worried that that's getting to him already this year. Instead of being able to just race like we know he can, I'm worried that he's scared he's not going to prove himself enough.
Which might then affect his racing.
Well, yeah, it already is. That's what I
Yeah.
mean. So I'm hoping it's just the first weekend blues and it just didn't go well for him. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Zane Maloney won the sprint race and the feature race. So congrats to him. That's really good. He's great. He's another one to watch out for.
Different teams in F2.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you can be on the same team as somebody else, but run under a different academy. So if I remember correctly, don't quote me, they may have moved around this year, and I've just completely blanked. But as I said, Antonelli runs under Mercedes, and Behrman runs under Ferrari. I think they're both racing under Prema though. I could be very wrong. I know Behrman's under Prema. I just can't remember if Antonelli is this year or not. Another one to watch out for, personal fave, is Paul Aaron. He's a good little racer. He came P3 in the feature race. So go Aaron. But he's definitely another one to keep an eye on. I think he definitely doesn't get talked about as much as he should be. But he's a good little racer. Personally, I think he's a great little racer. Other than that, let's have a look at. This is my favorite little thing. I have this little. We both have this little tracker, this season tracker. Oh my god, I'm gonna drop it. So this, you can see the ring light. I love that. This is the Bahrain one. This is the Bahrain one. I went as far as color coding it, and I actually went as far. If you can't tell, all the names are color coded by their teams, but the color that it's color coded in, I went as far as finding out each team's official hex code color.
So like
that's the official colors of each team. That is the official hex code color.
That's so funny.
I love being a little bit of a.
Do you remember any of the names of them?
No, I just they're
Is it like Pantone colors or like?
No, so. Oh my god, where did they go? Okay, wait, hold on. If I click on Norris. Oh my god, why is it not? Oh my god. Okay, well, either way, when you go into it, I'm not gonna screw with Norris, please. You can literally do like a preset
That's so
one,
cool.
and you can put the actual hex code color in. It's really cool. I love that. So I do have them all set as their official hex code colors for the year. So most of them ran just soft tires for the qualifying. Obviously, you want the fastest. You don't really need to worry about it warming up too bad. Or you do need to worry about it warming up. You don't need to worry about lap length. So they all go for the soft. We had the race results, which did see Red Bull lockout front row, Ferrari lockout second row of the final feature race. We then had a Mercedes McLaren double decker sandwich, kinda. We had Russell in fifth, Lando in sixth, Hamilton in seventh, Piastri in eighth.
Oh.
Bit of a switch around sandwich there. Then we did see Alonso and Stroll take in the next row, and then it just kind of scatters from there. We did see Ocon and Gasly go up 2 places each. That was only due to the accident, not because Alpine's car got any better during the race.
Unfortunate.
We'll leave it at that. But yeah, this does see Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes lock out those first 3 spots in the constructors already. This does also see McLaren take that 4th spot, best of the rest so far. So if we keep in a good go this year, we're gonna
climb the ladder.
I think we could get McLaren in the top 3.
You colored in. Oh, that's right. It is a night race.
Yeah, Bahrain's night race.
Yeah, I was thinking, no, it's not, but I'm literally watching it right now.
It was a night race. But yeah, I love my little race results, starting grid, that kind of thing. And the fact I get to do this every week, and have my like little
activity book,
my little statistic tracker, because I love being able to visually see how the season is going.
Yeah,
race by race.
I like it too. I haven't filled mine out yet, but it's nice to have.
I even color coded the sectors in the little map because I'll call myself a nerd with that one.
You can't bully me for being a nerd.
I would never bully you for being a nerd.
Really? Really?
Fucking nerd.
This is the kind of abuse I live with.
It is, isn't it? Sucks to suck, dude.
Sucks to be a nerd.
Speaking of, though, not speaking of being a nerd,
you couldn't relate.
Really couldn't, it's a hard life for you.
Like that.
No, but speaking of, that does bring us to the end of the episode.
Yeah.
We do have dogs walking around in the background. So if you hear little tippy taps, again, I apologize.
Oh, you're done.
Fangs.
We're going to make noise now.
Fangs is a very active little guy. All right. No, speaking of, we are at the end of the episode. We've enjoyed being able to just yap about another race. I've enjoyed yapping about another race.
I've enjoyed listening and learning. Not so much me talking, but
there's so much for you to learn.
Yeah. I guess there's not much for me to say really when there's not a lot I know. But I guess as we progress, I'll understand things more. I'll learn things more.
Well, you've learned about tire compounds today. You've learned about like an average pit stop kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You've learned the different layouts of a race weekend. You've learned a little bit about F2.
Yeah, more than I knew before. So.
You've learned about Arthur Leclerc and Paul Gaze. And yeah, our next episode will be next week. Next race is next week.
That's soon.
That's soon, yeah.
Are
Yeah,
they
we don't get a
always 3 5 weeks?
no, you occasionally get a weekend between them.
Okay.
And then we've got summer break, which is in winter for us, which is about like a month off.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, there is certain ones where they'll have like a triple header, which is like 3 weeks in a row. And
Wow.
yeah, strap yourself in for a long year.
I'm ready.
My guy. It is a lot to take in. Yeah, the next race is next weekend. It is in Saudi Arabia. It is the Jeddah GP. 50 laps for next week.
Oh, do they have different laps?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
This one's 57 laps.
Depending
Bahrain,
on the track?
Yeah. So Bahrain's 57 laps. Saudi Arabia is, like Jeddah is 50 laps. Melbourne Albert Park is 58 laps.
Wow.
It's
a pretty straightforward looking circuit though. No.
Yeah. So the laps are generally
Melbourne.
by like kilometers. Because the race is going to go for a certain amount of kilometers, roughly. And obviously, if the track is smaller, there's going to have more laps.
I'm just looking at this glitch.
The glitch is just repeating. I see the McLaren in the back. Like it's keep going. It's you get that little underneath of the Ferrari. Actually, before we finish,
now it's just given up. Thanks,
love that.
KO.
No, during preseason testing, what we didn't talk about is the drain cover.
Oh yeah, again, there's always a drain cover, right?
So I'm going to finish this. I'm going to finish this by saying we'll be back next week for the Jeddah circuit for the Saudi Arabia GP.
Please make sure there are no drain covers that aren't.
We'll be back like the drain covers.
What?
We'll be back like
that was a nerdy thing to say.
If we have another issue with the drain covers, call me in. I will lay on top of the drain cover. Solution.
Fixed.
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
Fangs doesn't like that solution.
No,
he said Mum's gonna get hit by an F1 car. As if that's not like the best way to go, Fangs. Lizard on track, rat on track. Let me out there.
They would aim for you. Hit the rat. Kill it.
Oh, okay.
On that note, we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week, I guess, if I don't get hit for being a rat on track.